You can go all across America, and this is the coolest game you'll find. Moving 44 pounds of granite down a sheet of ice in a game of millimeters, it's a unique blend of strategy and sweat, and it's helped curling capture the imagination of sports fans throughout the nation. So it's only appropriate that for this season, we ride the rocking game's growing wave of popularity to the southeast, Raleigh, North Carolina, where America's best are back to take on the world in a four-nation round-robin tournament for the coveted American Cup. Tonight, a women's division duel in Draw 7 as the American women, led by skip Jamie Sinclair, look to keep things rolling against a tough team from Japan. Will Sinclair and company have what it takes to take the point? We'll have the answer tonight. NBCSN Curling Night in America. NBCSN happy to present another edition of NBCSN Curling Night in America. Raleigh, North Carolina, not your normal winter wonderland. On average, the city gets just about 5 inches of snow per winter. That could plop down in just a few hours in a bunch of northern spots, but inside the Polar Iceplex, we've got all the ice we need, and we've got Carolina curling fans at the ready for our matchup tonight between the United States and Japan in women's play.
Hi again, Jason App, ready to roll one more time in Raleigh for another edition of NBCSN Curling Night in America. Fine folks here in North Carolina have been terrific hosts for this competition, and the curling has been excellent. It's been awesome to be a part of it. 4 nations here, Scotland, Japan, Italy, and the United States, and we're getting awful close to crowning champions in all 3 of those divisions as we enter the final draws of the competition, and the overall top country gets to take home the American Cup. Glad to have Pete Fenson step in as usual, 8-time U.S. national champ, 2006 Olympic bronze medalist. Pete, it's Jamie Sinclair and the United States women here in our featured matchup again tonight. Jamie incorporating a couple of new players to her team this season. When you change your lineup, add to your roster, what becomes important for a skip?
Well, I can't express enough how important team dynamics are to the success of a curling team. And it's imperative for Jamie Sinclair's team to work that out early.
And we'll see how the U.S. fares against Team Japan. And Team Sinclair would love the results that Suzuki Fujisawa and her squad have earned in recent years. World silver, Olympic bronze. Why do you think this Japanese team has really become one of the world's elite?
Well, obviously, hard work and dedication go without saying, but this team actually seems to be having fun out there on the ice, and I think that makes a big difference.
It will be obvious to watch tonight. They are smiling, laughing, and usually, more often than not, winning. We'll see if they can do that against the United States. Before we check into the game, we'll check into our smiling, good-natured friend, and that's Tanith White.
U.S. skip Jamie Sinclair is now leading what she considers to be her dream team, and the one she hopes she'll be able to take all the way to the 2022 Olympic Games. But all of this excitement right now is really magnified when contrasted with the heartbreak she felt not too long ago when her team failed to qualify to the 2018 Olympic Games, something she said at the time she had to put a Band-Aid over her heart to recover from. Then last season at the World Championships, Jamie tripped over a stone during a match, taking her out of what would be the U.S. women's final game of those championships. So another unexpected outcome. And when I caught up with Jamie early this week, she had a lot to reflect on. And she said at this point, her perspective is to appreciate the bigger picture, telling me she realizes now that she had to experience those and other high-pressure situations to turn her into the athlete she is becoming and who she is today, someone who has honed their leadership skills and really will be at peak performance and ready to capitalize on the next opportunity to qualify to the Games.
Tana, thanks. And that next opportunity for Jamie and her team will come at the U.S. Olympic trials coming late in 2021 for Beijing 2022. The United States, yellow stones. Japan will throw red. Each team throws 8 per end in our 8-end game. Closest rocks to the center for one team than the nearest of their foes. Those the ones that count in each end. First throw here from Taylor Anderson, the lead for Team USA. Nice guard put out as we meet the Americans.
Taylor Anderson, Broomall, Pennsylvania.
Vicky Persinger, Fairbanks, Alaska.
Tori Christensen, Duluth, Minnesota.
Jamie Sinclair, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Here is the lead for Team Japan. Yurika Yoshida, 26-year-old, again part of this group that's been together and very efficient with world and Olympic podium finishes here in the last 4-year stretch. First Japanese stone played to the button. JB Sinclair ready for her next shot as we get a moment to get introduced to Team Japan.
That's okay. I like that. Yeah.
Yurika Yoshida, Kitami Japan.
Yumi Suzuki, Kitami Japan.
Shinami Yoshida, Kitami Japan. Satsuki Fujisawa, Kitami Japan.
JB Sinclair prepping for the next. Second stone coming from Taylor Anderson. You heard in her introduction. Broomall, PA, suburban Philadelphia. She and her twin sister, Sarah, grew up learning the game in their family. Dad taught them. Their parents, originally from Canada, moved to the States. Learned the game at the Philadelphia Curling Club, two-sheeter in Paoli, PA. Right to the top of the 8-foot there. Both these teams just getting their feet wet a little bit here in this opening end.
Trying to get things set up here for their teams. The leads getting it started here. Both teams trying to get familiar with the ice, how much curl there's going to be in this particular game.
Played a handful of contests already here in their respective sessions. Next from Yoshida.
Nice shot there by the Japanese. Taylor would have loved to have gotten that freeze a little bit closer to that red rock on the button to avoid leaving the shot we just saw made there.
Vicky Persinger next to play from Fairbanks, Alaska. Didn't think she'd be competing at this point of her career. Didn't play a ton of spiels across the country growing up as a junior, but has found her way to the U.S. High Performance Program and back with Jamie Sinclair, part of a national championship winning team a few seasons ago with her. Played on a different team last season.
Actually did play third for Corey Christensen last year, so they have now joined Jamie and Taylor.
Reshuffling of some of the positions for the U.S. teams and trying to find the right formula for the multiple teams in the U.S. system on both the men's and women's side to kind of be at their best to get ready to provide good competition for one another for the upcoming U.S. Olympic trials in 2021. Great shot from Yumi Suzuki for Japan as we're underway here in Raleigh. NBCSN Curling Night in America is being brought to you by TeamUSAShop.com, where every purchase helps support your Team USA athletes. By the World Curling Federation, proud supporter of curling everywhere. By the 20,000 plus members of USA Curling. And by Toyota, going places.
Yeah, I like board. Board. Just easy board, though. Yep.
JB Sinclair chatting with her team. Handful of rocks in the house. Ladder stages and number one of our featured game tonight here on NBCSN Curling Night in America. Corey Christensen, the United States third, ready to play. Was skipping her own team, as Pete touched on, the last couple of years. Talented skip with great accolades. Four-time U.S. Junior National Champion and World Junior Bronze back in 2016. Playing third for Sinclair.
Actually, her first time playing third, so a bit of an adjustment period may be needed here for Corey to settle into that role.
U.S. right now, not shot rock, but it is second, third, and fourth.
Yeah, big shot there by Corey to actually kill the back red stone. And you see that yellow rock she just delivered sits on top of the forefoot in a great position.
Again, Japan has the hammer, the last shot advantage here to begin in this opening end. Tsunami Yoshida ready to play. She's the older sister of Eureka, the lead for this team. And again, they've played to great success. 2016 World Silver. And then Olympic bronze in 2018 in Pyeongchang. The first world and Olympic medals for the Japanese in the sport of curling.
Something like that definitely changes the nature of the game in their country, having success on such a large stage. A little bit of a spot now for the Japanese. Following that great hit and stay by Corey Christensen. Hit and roll away, hitting that top rock and the top of the forefoot and rolling to the outside. Not a bad play. They have to try and navigate those two red stones, however.
Well, they're mapping things out with their brooms right now. Just kind of tapping and seeing all the possibilities of what they hit, where it goes, where it ends up. Trying to figure out a way still to get two here in this end.
Yeah, just trying to visualize the best landing spot for their shooter. They could kill a couple of yellow stones here. That red rock that's now shot right on the tee line would more than likely carry them on to that yellow stone belonging to the U.S. on the tee line as well. It's a little messy now, though, for the Japanese. They've elected to open up the front.
3 rocks left in this end for the Japanese, 2 for Team USA. As you look at the launch for Tsunami Yoshida from the hack, sliding this rock well over 100 feet, trying to hit that target at the other end. No run back there, but does clear the United States guard from out front.
Had a chance to make contact with that redstone tight to the rings. Really get things opened up a little bit more.
I mean, you could try to get one in here. If you end up short guarding it, it's fine.
They've left themselves now
Doesn't really have much on this side.
a short run back on that rock just short of the paint.
Like it's a little risky, right? If I'm out here, give them an easy that.
The key for Japan here is to leave themselves some way to score.
Yeah,
Always trying to eliminate steals by your opponent, which means scoring without the hammer. So anytime you have the hammer, you want to make sure you put some points on the board.
On the
And
what?
right now,
Okay.
Japan does have the scoring stone lying one with that red rock closest to the button. But the U.S. has a lot of traffic around it. Japan still thinking of wanting to utilize and maximize the hammer and get 2 or potentially more. But right now, Jamie Sinclair, with her team, did a pretty good job of making it challenging for Team Japan.
But any more ice,
Yeah, we can always come the other way too.
yeah, I think it should be okay.
Okay.
Hair stiff.
Not sure out this far. Probably.
All the thoughts with her front end as they get ready to play the shot. Jamie Sinclair, calling Charlotte, North Carolina, her hometown. Again, dual citizen of Canada and the United States, born in Anchorage to Canadian parents who were stationed there on a military exchange. And Jamie started playing for the United States a few years ago in the high performance program. Didn't have an American curling club, had gone to the Charlotte Curling Club and played there one weekend, loved the people there. So when they asked her to have a home club, she said, Charlotte Curling Club it is.
And they've really seemed to embrace Jamie and the team, follow them on tour, and they have done a great job of supporting them.
A lot of those backers are here checking out the action in Raleigh during this event, making the trek cross state. So Japan now with the first of 2 skip stones coming up for Satsuki Fujisawa.
チーム USA のチームの A ぐらいに止めたいな。
3とか3秒でいいかもね。
Fujisawa, not with a lot of offensive options here, is elected to just guard shot rock, possibly just settling for the single. Let me get this rock just across the center line.
So at this point, just trying to protect their one in there and kind of settle for the single.
Yeah, things just aren't looking real good for Fujisawa and Team Japan. So they're just guarding the single point.
Come around. Yeah.
Jamie as well. No real chance to score. She's content to force the Japanese to take one.
Right.
And you were right.
Yeah, the force would be a victory here for the U.S. Even though Japan scores, it'd just be the single. And you take that just about all the time when you don't have hammer.
Yeah, the object without hammer, force one by your opponent, and then work hard for that deuce when you have the hammer.
I like it.
Mine's nice.
Mine's good.
Jamie Sinclair and her team, last year's World Championships, just on the verge of breaking through to the playoffs. You heard Tana talk earlier. Jamie celebrating a victory in the next to last game of round robin play. Caught a rock, trip, went down, hurt her leg. Forced to sit out the last game that the U.S. lost. They ended up, the U.S., in a tiebreaker for the last playoff spot, and they lost that tiebreaker to Team Japan, a different team. It was Team Nakajima that earned the spot at the World Championships last year, and not this team led by Fujisawa. But still, they are the top team in the last few years in the Japanese women's curling hierarchy. And we get the accolades to prove it. Fujisawa here with the last rock of the opening end.
Fujisawa attempting to draw for a second point. Might be able to come off that rock just delivered by Jamie Sinclair. This one doesn't curl quite enough.
It will be 1 point for the Japanese. Smiling and having fun, even though they got forced in the opening end. That's how they play. U.S. with hammer for the first time. Coming up.
I'm here with Corey Christensen, vice skip on Team Sinclair. Corey, you went from being the alternate for the women's team at the Olympic Games, then headed back and skipped your own team through last season. Now you're with Jamie in this vice skip role. What has this experience been like for you?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be playing with Jamie. I have so much respect for her. I think she's such a great player. And obviously playing third is definitely a new role for me, but I'm loving it so far. So I'm really excited about this team. I think it's got a lot of potential, and I'm excited to see where this goes.
What are some of the differences and the challenges you had to adjust to?
You know, seeing the last two rocks come down as opposed to throwing them is very different. But like I said, I'm really enjoying it, and I feel like I have a unique perspective having been skipped before. So I feel like I know what to tell Jamie because you know I know what I like to hear from my third when I used to skip. So yeah, I just had to make sure that I was there. Yeah, balance is tough, I guess, but still. I think I have a unique perspective, and we make a good back-end pair.
Tanith, Corey, thank you. The United States with that new back half of the lineup, forcing Japan to take just a single point with hammer in the opening end. So N2 here. Japan shooting first. The United States will have the last shot advantage here on NBCSN Curling Night in America. And Pete, that discussion there between Corey and Tanith, trying to understand, you're used to throwing the last shot, making the ultimate decision, and now you've got to work in unison with somebody. As a longtime skip, to get put in that role, how challenging is it to alter your game, to kind of tailor it to what, in this case, Jamie Sinclair wants?
Well, the key for Corey Christensen now in her new role as vice skip is to learn how to best communicate not only with Jamie but also with the front end to help make the team stronger. Communication is such a huge part of these teams' successes, how they talk their way through a game is very, very important.
And as she also joked, sweeping skips, guys don't have to do a ton of that, but you've got to kind of refine and enhance that part of curling.
Yeah, it's a big difference sweeping for 6 feet as a skip does, or back-to-back stones all the way down the sheet. There's a lot more involved. You know, obviously fitness is a big deal. She now has to judge weight as well, which is a very important part of the game. So definitely a bit of a transition for Corey, but I believe she's handling it quite well.
Next coming here for Team Japan. It was interesting talking to Vicky Persinger about that as well. She said, you know, Corey is less type A than most skips anyway, so it's meshing out those two very well. Taylor Anderson with the next here for the Americans. See how Jamie and Corey and the rest of this team plot their strategy to try to get a deuce at least here in N2.
It's trying to come down. All there, though. Will be just a 7. Yep. Sit. Okay, good, Taylor.
Taylor Anderson's next to the edge of the button. The U.S. lies 1, trailing by 1 in end number 2 on curling night. Play resuming here at end number 2. The United States trailing by a point, but with hammer. 2 American yellow stones in a scoring position right now inside the 4-foot as Japan plays its next.
2 rocks belonging to Team USA are a little deeper than they would like. Japan now has a chance to throw a freeze into that pocket and make this particular stone very difficult to remove.
Tsunami Yoshida throwing this here for Team Japan.
Yoshida and Suzuki would like to get this frozen right on top of that yellow without bumping it. They don't want to make that opening between those 2 yellow rocks any bigger. That one over curls just slightly. Team USA still lies 2. Perfect weight by Yoshida.
Yeah, I think we got to move it.
Rock just over curling by about a half a rock probably.
Back 8. Yeah.
Should stay fairly straight, I think, right?
I think it moves a little bit this way.
I was going to ask for more, but I think this is close now.
Corey Christensen ready to play her next and getting that positive reinforcement there from the front end to kind of fortify what she was already thinking in her mind and make a little adjustment.
Yeah, Corey just making sure that the ice is right. She wants to make sure that visually it looks right to her. Jamie putting the stick in the right place is always critical, but for the shooter they have to have a good look at it as well.
Good. That's really good.
Pete, we make correlations all the time between golf and curling in the putting part of it. Is that a little bit like having a caddy kind of just reading that line for you as well and just giving you the information, the support to follow what you think?
Yeah, similar, I think, Jason. We always hear these players talking in the hack about the line and where the broom is placed to allow them to be as accurate as possible. And there's a great view of how that turned out for Team USA and Corey Christensen by moving that back yellow rock, and they kind of free up that red stone belonging to Japan now.
Body English too there for Christensen that you'll see on golf courses worldwide, trying to get that one to find the hole, or in this case, the right spot in the house. Fujisawa with the first of the skip stones here in N2.
Never like to see the sweepers that uninterested in sweeping. This one's a little heavy out of hand here by Fujisawa. Therefore, under curling, but not a bad result. You see they tap that yellow stone back.
Yeah.
underneath that red rock that we were referring to before. Now easily advanced for Fujisawa in for shot rock.
That one's not going anywhere. No. But what would they do? She could hit it and kill one.
Right. And then you'd have a tough draw for 2.
Yeah, if any. Because her shooter's probably going to stay up there.
And Fujisawa's last rock been a few feet lighter. It would have likely stayed frozen on that yellow stone, also being a very good result.
Yeah, I don't think so.
LSD was just outside middle.
Jamie's got a chance now to just throw this out turn draw right to the top of the button there where Corey's broom is.
LSD, I'd say.
Rock's virtually in jail. Impossible for Fujisawa to remove it.
Maybe a little slower, a little stiffer than draw. This is
Draw
draw.
is hard. I think just
Heard her say LSD, that last shot draw, trying to figure out who gets the last shot in the ends before the game. They'll throw a couple, so basically wanting that shot right to the button.
Yeah, they get a pregame practice, and then they have to draw for the hammer, so that last shot draw is used as reference for the entire game as far as line goes. And speed, you'll hear the front end talking to the skips and the thirds about the speed of the LSD.
A look from the house at one end back to the other, and what Jamie Sinclair and her team have to navigate here with the first of the last 2 rocks for the American skip here in N2.
Really like to just make this draw cold right to the top of the button without moving any rocks at all.
For 8.
Go. Yep. Go.
And that rock definitely heavier than they would like. Now you can see that they've left that same out turn draw for Fujisawa. She should be able to get shot rock. Probably setting up a steal. She can go to school on that rock just delivered by Jamie, as well as her first of this end.
My Japanese is a little rusty, but with that kind of hand motion there, she's trying to get that rock into that spot to kind of jostle that group free a little bit.
Well, I think she's saying that it's okay if we come in there and tap. If she has a little extra weight, as long as the line is good and she moves some of those yellow rocks around, it shouldn't hurt them because there's such a wall of rocks in the back of the forefoot now. She can afford to actually make sure that she's there with her weight. Key is line now. Going hard to get past those rocks in the top part of the house.
But it doesn't do it. Grazing off that one yellow. And now Jamie Sinclair,
I think so.
right now lying 2.
Maybe a hair less ice, a hair.
How can they potentially maximize things in this end?
Looks like just an out turn draw for 3. She has to touch the button. She can actually come off that red rock, touching the tee line that was just delivered by Fujisawa.
Same broom.
Interesting on that last shot, Jason. Fujisawa tightened up the ice by a whole foot, trying to get to the desired location. You see Jamie Sinclair now putting the broom back in the middle of the 12-foot.
Real similar, Jamie. I wouldn't change much.
Yeah. You're going to go for the same little rub off the out.
Yep.
So Jamie Sinclair now throwing a very similar shot to what she threw with her first stone, maybe increasing the likelihood that she'll be able to pull this one off.
Yeah, very similar throw is what she's looking for here. We heard that conversation between Jamie and Vicky.
The American skip, her last here in the second, trying to give the U.S. a 3 spot and the lead here against Team Japan.
Vicky high side sweeping to get some curl there and roll right to the button for 3.
The in-off and a triple score here for Sinclair in N2.
Great communication here between the front end and Corey Christensen. They're letting her know it's plenty heavy. Corey's able to play this chap off the outside rock and roll right to the lid for 3.
So it's 3,
In N2, and one big smile for the American skip. Her team leads on NBCSN Curling Night in America.
Same weight.
2-point advantage after 2 ends for the United States here on NBCSN Curling Night in America.
Okay.
Jamie Sinclair's group with a big 3. In that last end, Japan is the hammer back. Rock's already in play. Jason Knapp alongside 8-time U.S. national champion, Olympic bronze medalist Pete Fenson, Tanith White ice side.
Corey off. Oh, get off.
Vicky Persinger playing the latest stone for the Americans.
Vicky trying to hit that rock right on the nose. She manages to lie 2, but spread those rocks out. Kick the rock out of the 4-foot, which is not optimal. They now open up this corner guard for the Japanese to use.
Yumi Suzuki has her engineering degree from the Gatami Institute of Technology. In this group of Japanese players, all in their late 20s. And Pete, they've played together for a good stretch. In fact, the Yoshida sisters and the skip Fujisawa, they've been playing together for about 20 years, since they were 6 or 7 years old. Fujisawa was actually one of their rivals. She joined the team as a replacement for another player. They came together and they've been continuing making strides and growing ever since, with that world silver in 2016, the Olympic bronze in 2018.
95.
And they've really become a force on tour as well. Very surprising if they ever go to an event and don't qualify and make the playoffs. So always hanging around on Sunday.
Corey Christensen going next. Again, very accomplished junior curler. That world silver in 2016. Heard her tell Tanith before about tagging along as the alternate for Nina Roth's team at the Olympics in Pyeongchang, and understanding what that high-level competition was about and assisting that team in their preparation. Hoping to continue to use that knowledge going forward herself.
And the big thing there, I think, Jason, for her is to be with that team in such a big situation, to learn how they communicate and how they operate, how they function off the ice is just as important as how they do things on the ice.
Shinami Yoshida with the next here for Team Japan. A social media whiz. She's out posting a lot of the exploits of this team as they play around the world.
Big sweep here, trying to get this around those guards. In for second shot.
I don't mind drying to cut
I don't
them
mind
off.
drying either. I think it's too late to peel.
Yeah. Kind of like.
Team USA
you
line
do
1
this-
in the 4-foot.
I think you got to be tight, because if you're out counting, it's too easy of a double.
Right.
Or you put another one in over here.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
I don't mind that.
I'm just afraid if you do this, they might freeze tap and lay 2 buried.
Yeah. Yeah, we better go this way. So
That red
just
rock not
tight.
touching the 8
Yeah,
foot.
real tight.
Team USA talking about splitting the rings, but even if it's made quite well, it gives the Japanese an opportunity to make a play in there and have a second rock under cover or partially under cover, and even use that Yellowstone as backing. So they've elected to throw the in-turn draw. We'll call it a guard. It's going to be real tight to the rings.
2, 3,
Maybe even just touching the paint isn't the worst.
2, 1, 2.
Yep, go ahead.
Hey, you just got to get the line. You got to fully cross center. Fully cross, Tay.
Tay, you gotta go.
Gotta go, Tay.
Hard, Tay. Hard, Tay, you gotta go.
Jamie Sinclair up to assist, adding a third broom to the sweep.
That rock probably a little higher than they would have liked, but the line is not too bad. You see that rock in the 4-foot still slightly exposed on the outturn side. I think Yoshida can come down and actually tap it out of the 8-foot and lie 2. Doesn't need to throw this very hard. She just needs enough weight to tap that Yellowstone out of the 8-foot. Even if it's a little tight and rubs that rock, it's just short of the paint, she would likely roll on for second shot. Perfectly executed, rolls into the open.
Japan, those two red stones closer than the nearest American yellow, lying 2. And Sinclair gliding back, ready to play.
Just control. Okay. Try to get half under kind of thing. Okay.
Jamie with the out-turn hit trying to roll back towards center.
Speed's okay out here.
Yeah.
The problem is it's going to be behind the tee, and we just saw how easy it was for Yoshida to come down with a little bit of extra weight and just tap that American stone out of the rings. So Jamie's got to make this as good as she can. Still needing to hope for a little bit of a break from the Japanese.
Whoa. 10-5. Whoa. Close. Whoa. Roll it, Tay. Go, Tay. Anything. Go, 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 go.
Got the corner buried.
Good weight.
That rock's still exposed here for Fujisawa now. Should be a pretty simple tap out. Once again, she wouldn't mind just rolling way over to the side of the 8-foot just to make that roll back as difficult as possible for Jamie Sinclair.
Fujisawa's team didn't take part in the World Championships the last 2 years after Olympic bronze a couple of years ago. They weren't able to qualify because they were busy with the Olympics and the Japanese Nationals. Last year, again, they didn't make it through Japanese Nationals. So they certainly have plenty of pedigree trying to get back in it here against Team USA.
Good enough. They actually rolled probably one rock towards the outside of the rings. Main objective there was to kill that American stone.
Same weight.
Jamie Sinclair.
Just a hair less.
Okay.
It's a bit more ice. Just
Like
trying
an
to get
11
fully
or
under.
something.
Looking to get a bit more ice here.
11-2 is good.
Been getting more and more experience at the top levels of the sport. Multiple U.S. national titles. Past 2 years at Worlds. 2018, 4th. Last year, again, just outside the playoff bubble. And, of course, that top honor of becoming the first U.S. team to win a Grand Slam when she and her squad won the Players' Championship in April of 2018. Last here for Team USA in the 3rd.
Me?
No, no, no.
No.
Jamie trying to lighten up just a little bit from her first.
Anything, Tay.
Go, Tay!
Go, 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 go.
There, well done. You see that rock rolls right in behind that guard. Top of the 4-foot this time, so this rock's actually a couple feet closer to that guard than was earlier. So the tap out for Fujisawa will be a little bit more difficult.
Terrific last stone for Sinclair in the United States. Fujisawa prepping for her last.
Perfect line there for Team USA. You see where that rock rolled is actually overburied on the in-turn side by an inch or so. Fujisawa now, real soft weight. Needs to tap this rock out of the 8-foot for 2. Gonna throw it soft enough to let it break in there after the guard, but just hard enough to tap it out of the 8-foot.
Little bit of a concern look for her out of hand here. Sweepers off, and it clips that U.S. rock and not tapping it enough. And the U.S. going to get a steal of 1 out of it. So the United States pads its lead 4-1 through 3. Japan will get the hammer back, but now trailing the United States by 1 more. and 4. Some rocks in play. The United States still in front. 4-1 the score here on NBCSN Curling Night in America. Jamie Sinclair laying the broom for the next shot from Vicky Persing. Again from Fairbanks, Alaska. Last year and this year, first 2 years of this Olympic cycle, she's commuting from Alaska to play with a team at every event. The travel can be a little bit exhausting. Thinks the last 2 years of the Olympic cycle she'll operate out of the Twin Cities area, but loves her job working for a title company in Alaska. Says they're great about giving her the time off required to chase these Olympic dreams.
It would just be impossible for any of these athletes to compete at the level that they do without that sort of support.
Here's Suzuki for Team Japan.
Trying to get those yellow stones moved back behind the tee line a little. That one's overthrown, I would say, a bit. Doesn't really make contact, so to speak, with those yellow rocks. Manages to hang on to the 12-foot.
Into it, yeah. I don't mind that. Because if we peel
Try peeling it into it. I mean,
yeah, worst case, you roll to the center.
We're 1-2, right?
Yeah.
But that
Thick
is
3/4.
okay. You like this?
Yeah.
I do.
Corey now
Your ears curled a lot here.
asking Jamie if maybe we just
Your ears curled a
peel
lot.
that
Yeah,
red
but I
corner
started
guard
running
into the
hair.
Can I
rock.
have just a hair more?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't mind that.
Just biting the
You can always
12-foot,
go
try and
bump
kill
that
them both. Maybe roll over and provide a little bit more cover in the middle of the sheet.
Whoa.
Whoa. Watch the roll, watch the roll.
Got it.
Good shot.
Great shot there by Corey Christensen. There's a fairly long double.
Crowd here in Raleigh appreciative as Sinclair watches her third Christensen eliminate 2 red Japanese stones.
Yoshida now with the chance of her own here, trying to make this out turn. Would be triple. Should be able to kill all 3 of these stones. Looking for somewhere near the nose. Not so bad. They left that 3rd stone in the rings, but should be fairly wide open.
Top 4? Okay.
Actually see that red rock also roll to the center line somewhere, and something that the Japanese can use.
So
Hair slow.
95?
95, yeah.
Yeah,
Even
just a hair
90.
slower on this side, right?
Yeah. 90 to 95.
Yeah. Make sure it's there.
Christensen again in the hack. Getting settled on the right shot, the right line, and hopefully the right result.
Line good.
They're just talking about short split time. There we're here 90, 95. That's 3.9 or 3.95 seconds from the back line to the hog line. Just as a reference point for the shooter and the sweepers.
Gotta keep going. Go. Hard.
Yeah,
No, wait, keep going. Go. Very sweet.
Looks like they got it right.
To the top of the 8-foot white circle. Those 2 yellow American stones, the counters currently.
2 pretty good ones there by Corey Christensen in this end.
バックラインでいい？バックラインゾーン11ぐらい。
Yoshida now trying to hit and roll back under cover.
Yes!
Great view of how much finish there is on these rocks with lightweight. Not able to hold the line. Spins far enough, however, that Team USA does lie two.
Yeah, or you just it comes in a bit nicer this way. You know what I mean?
Right, like kind of move this here and
I think so, or just like go for the straight draw, and if we happen to
kiss
come
off.
of it, it's okay.
Yeah, you just threw this.
Yeah. Or is I?
Okay, so I think you were here last
This
time.
is the same spot in the sheet that Jamie
think
threw her
so.
draw for 3 in the
Just,
second end, so
top button.
they know it fairly well.
Yep, yep.
Christmas tree this a little bit. What do you think? Hopefully a Christmas tree. Otherwise, I think she's going to rub in.
So Sinclair,
Drawing coming off of our yellow is pretty
Okay.
good, but I think I'm just throwing pure draw weight.
Right.
pure draw for
Yeah, a
her.
little less. That was more like back four.
Yeah, that was probably here.
Yeah.
If you remember back to the second end, Jamie made that rub and roll to the top of the button for 3.
Speed's the same.
Yeah.
Virtually the same shot now that she could play here. Key is if she does that just to get the rock she makes contact with back out of the way a little bit. Not so as not to leave Fujisawa any sort of a double.
Go ahead, Tay.
7, 8, 8.
Go ahead, Tay. Yep.
8.
Tay, easy then. Line's okay. Tay. Tay, yep. You gotta go.
Should be plenty of weight. They just have to get the line right now.
Tay, hard. 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 Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. You stay on it. Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Great sweep there. Good call by Corey Christensen to get that rock between those two yellows without making contact.
That was a crowd pleaser. Loving it in Raleigh.
Big sweep here by the front end, and Taylor Anderson on the low side just gets that one by the rock top 8. Gonna see no daylight there as it goes by.
Optical illusion, it seemed. Jamie, yep. I got it. So now the U.S. lies 3, which Fujisawa and Japan thinking right now.
Now Fujisawa now going to follow Jamie Sinclair right in there, try and tap that yellow stone. Just back off the button and lie 1. They should know this track. Both teams have thrown it more than once.
Not as clean with a little in-off, but still effective there for Fujisawa.
A little extra weight. That rock just didn't quite curl as much as Jamie Sinclair's. Still got the job done, though.
And that is the old skip showing of, yeah, I meant to do that.
She told her vice. Good call there. Quick little sweep. Make sure that they clip that rock going by.
You can give them one here.
I think out turn to get it out of the 8-foot. I mean, it's probably easiest. I don't have a ton of room by that center guard.
No.
Just thinking maybe normal.
Looks pretty good now for
Taylor.
the Japanese
I mean,
team.
it's like a fifth,
tight.
right? Yeah.
If Jamie happens to throw the out turn freeze, Fujisawa has whole in turn draw to the 4-foot for 2.
What do you guys like?
Kind of like the freeze. What do you guys think?
We freeze. She's got to draw with backing.
At least it's a. Oh, I see.
Could try this. Pretty fun.
I think it's our only shot to force him to
Right.
Time for a little
What kind of weight on
team
this one?
conversation.
Well, it's a little tight to the center, so probably.
Pretty light.
Jamie could maybe come off that yellow rock we see in the open,
Piece.
real thin,
Yeah, I think
and
it's there with normal,
kill
but
shot
it's really
rock.
tight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't mind a 10.
Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah.
The freeze just leaves Fujisawa with an open draw for 2.
10?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a call now. She's throwing a 10, which is just a soft weight hit, like a board weight hit. Wants to just clip a piece of that yellow stone, redirect the shooter, and kill that Japanese stone that sits on top of the button under cover.
I guess tolerance is thick. Thinking a hair more?
I think that's pretty close.
Okay. Pretty thin.
Yeah.
10.
It'll run for a bit. Control?
Yeah, 10.
It's important for Corey Christensen to know here exactly where to hit this first rock. 9-5, so she's a little heavy. This rock should run a bit.
Girl. No. Okay, all right.
It was moving, and it moves on by that
It's hot.
Yeah.
Japanese stone. Hear Jamie saying that was hot, and now it's a wide open draw here for Japan, and it's 2.
Fujisawa just needs a couple inches of the forefoot for a pair.
You can see a tinge of regret in that reaction from Jamie Sinclair. Maybe would like to have that back. Fujisawa, with her skill set and her resume, this is about a gimme.
I would say so. This 2 points should go on the board here for the Japanese. Front end looks pretty comfortable with it.
Draw to the forefoot for a pair. Successful for Team Japan, and the gap is closed. Just a single point separating the U.S. and Japan at the break in Raleigh on Curling Night. NBCSN Curling Night in America, rolling along from Raleigh, North Carolina. It's presented by the Olympic Channel, home of Team USA. Our featured game tonight, Jamie Sinclair and the United States women battling Team Japan. Other games currently in this session, including Italy leading Scotland in women's play, the United States mixed doubles team of Corey Dropkin and Sarah Anderson taking it to Japan, leading by 5 at the break, and it's a 4-point cushion in mixed doubles for the Italians against the Scots. Here, Pete, in our featured game, Japan with hammer in end number 1 and only able to get 1 point.
Outpositioned slightly by Team USA. Japan has to settle for that single.
End 2, Jamie Sinclair getting a big 3.
Well played here by Jamie Sinclair and Corey Christensen, playing the rub off that outside rock, rolling to the button for 3.
So a 2-point lead. Japan gets the hammer again in the third, but Fujisawa not able to capitalize.
A tricky little shot here following a great hit and roll by Jamie Sinclair. Fujisawa trying to tap this rock out and stay, overthrown a little, under curls, giving up 1.
So the lead stretch for the United States, but this is what the Japanese skip was looking for here in the fourth.
A nice out-turn draw here by Fujisawa. Fully to the forefoot for 2.
So the U.S. up 1 at the break as we check in with Tanith.
Jamie, some beautiful shots from you and your teammates in those first few ends. How rewarding is it for you to see this team play like that right now?
It feels really good. I feel like the team is really grooving. We're playing really well out there, and it feels nice. It feels like we're all kind of on the same page and performing for the best of this team. Yeah.
When you and I spoke earlier, you talked about the development that you've had in the past several years and being able to play under high pressure situations. What do you take from that you now add to your game?
Well, I think any high-pressure situation that you're performing in, you can learn a lot from, and we definitely have over the course of the last 2 years. So bringing that experience into this kind of tournament, performing in front of this crowd, we kind of know our tendencies now, and we've definitely learned our lessons the hard way, maybe.
Jamie, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Tanith, Jamie, thanks. And Jamie Sinclair, as we're ready to resume play here in the fifth, says, you know what, you win an event like a Grand Slam as she did in 2018, you get invited to a lot more big events, more slams, world championships if you can earn spots, all part of her continued growth with this current team.
I mean, with any new team, I think the challenge is to build that relationship, to build that foundation of trust, which is being vulnerable with one another and really being comfortable. It's challenging, especially if not everybody on the team is very outgoing. So trying to just, break down some walls and build that level, that foundation that you need in order to, go through thick and thin with each other out there on the ice. I love the team that we have this year. I think we've kind of blended a lot of players together from different teams in the past. And I think that personality-wise and skill-wise, it's a great combination, and we mesh really well together and complement each other as far as our skill levels out on the ice. So I'm thrilled to be playing with this team.
And Pete, as we get rolling here in the 5th, you heard Jamie talk about the cohesion with this group. When she won her slam, she didn't do it against just any run-of-the-mill teams. She beat Olympic champion Anna Hasselborg in the quarterfinals, world champion Silvana Tirazzoni in the semifinals, and Olympic gold medalist and multi-time champion Jennifer Jones in the final. She has the ability, Jamie Sinclair, to beat some elite teams.
Yeah, and playing in an event like the Grand Slams and having success like she did really opens her own eyes and her team's eyes to how good they can be. And then they just have to continue to work towards sustaining that level of play and to keep winning those big events.
And that's the hardest thing right now, maybe for this group, is that consistency to be able to be at that elite level regardless of who your competition is.
Yeah, and that's really the key, I think, to becoming like the top 5 or 10 teams in the world, is getting your level of play, your regular, normal, everyday game to a very high level.
Well, we've seen some elite play from this team early on to have the lead by 1. More action from Raleigh continuing in just a moment. 4-3, rocks in play, N5. Japan with the next throw. There's Jamie Sinclair with hammer in this end. Tries to enhance the current 1-point advantage for Team USA.
Great point in the game now for Fujisawa and the Japanese team to try and force 1 point by Jamie Sinclair. Get the hammer back, playing 6. Trying to get this one around that yellow guard.
Happened to do that. It's good too. Yeah.
So with Japan lying to Corey Christensen, who's been perfect shooting-wise in the opening 4 ends, authors her next.
Corey trying to run this guard in and make contact with something red in the house.
She said she thought you threw it really well.
Does remove the guard, but nothing else materializing.
Japan lying 3 now. Fujisawa going to throw the out turn and guard second shot. They want to guard the one on the top of the house. Japan looking pretty good here so far this end for the force. Nothing in the house that's real steel worthy for them.
Fujisawa with that scarf she usually has on during her games. Keeping herself nice and toasty here alongside the sheet. Inside the Polar Iceplex in Raleigh. Everybody's got their comfort level on the ice piece. See, got the U.S. with Christensen in short sleeve. Jamie Sinclair's got little under gear under her outfit. Everybody's got to decide what their right temperature level is here playing.
And everybody's responsibilities are so different. Like the front end here, Taylor Anderson and Vicky Persinger do a lot of sweeping, so obviously a little different than the skip. So a little unique that way.
Just a shade under 80% efficiency for Sinclair. First half of this game.
Jamie trying to make a double here. A little bad luck. Just catching their own stone in the back. Now likely forced here. Jamie will probably have to outdraw that rock that's 7/8 in the 4-foot. Jamie trying to get things opened up with that first one. Sticks the shooter. Fujisawa now will guard that rock that's on the tee line and just challenge Jamie Sinclair to outdraw it for one.
So the view from behind the hack of what Fujisawa has to shoot for. Little substandard for her. Normal abilities at under 70%.
Going for line here. Want to guard that rock in the 4-foot. Just underthrown slightly by Fujisawa. It goes a couple more feet. The line's perfect.
I think you probably have about half of it, maybe even more. I think it's going to move nice here.
I think so too. Do you like center?
Yep.
Okay.
So 2 options for Jamie. She can throw the draw, probably in-turn draw to the side of the 4-foot for one. But that with that guard under curling, she's now got a piece of that shot stone. So she's just going to throw a tap out.
Okay. Pretty gradual would be my guess.
In-turn through that hole.
Good, I'll move good. 10-5.
Final rock here in the 5th for Team Sinclair.
Clean. Yep. Hard. 11. Hard. Yep. Okay, you're good. You're good.
Nice weight control there by Jamie Sinclair.
Able to get the hit and stay to salvage a single. One more on the board for Team USA, but Japan does get the force. Chance potentially to tie it up or take the lead with hammer coming up for the Japanese in the 6th.
I know. You can play that.
2-point lead for the U.S. 3 ends left, including
I don't think you can draw.
the rocks already set up here in end number 6. Jason Knapp, Pete Fenson, Tanith White on the call. Glad to have you with us here for the latest edition of NBCSN Curling Night in America. Jamie Sinclair, Pete, forced last end, and now they're trying to return the favor here to Team Japan.
Forcing for Team USA, huge here in 6. They still have the lead, and the hammer playing 7 back. Corey trying to get across the nose here and tap this redstone out of the rings. Not bad, at least got it out to lie 2.
I didn't realize we were going to the inside.
So Corey looking content with that result.
A good shot there by Corey just to lie 2 in this case.
Shinami Yoshida.
Yoshida just peeling the guard, trying to get things opened up a little. They got a little bonus there. Tap that rock under the corner guard. Nice result there for Team Japan.
Pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
Or
I think that's safer.
Hits. What if we just nose that back one?
Back 4.
Nose the back one?
This one?
Yeah.
Yoshida smiling at her
You
little
like that?
Sure.
bonus play there.
Yeah, a great result here. You see this goes right under that corner guard. Team USA still lies 2, but that extra rock under cover is something to smile about.
9-5.
This team, when they have it rolling, their energy and outward emotion is infectious. It's supposed to be a fun game, and they have fun playing.
That's one of the things I think that helps them be successful too, is they're relaxed when they're playing even the biggest games.
Clean. Oh, clean.
Corey here playing the nose hit.
Good.
Good enough to lie 3.
Good, great weight. Yeah, I like that.
Yoshida now with a chance to make the double. Maybe roll partway across the sheet. Love to make it roll over in front of that rock just thrown by Corey Christensen.
And a miss.
Not her best throw.
Keep that thing tied up. You like the guard, Jamie?
Well, from
Tight. Hey.
giddiness to a little questioning of how that went wrong.
Yeah.
See a little feedback from Fujisawa there telling her she just backed it up when she let it go, and when it's thrown that hard, the rocks will not curl. They just run straight down the sheet.
Yeah, okay.
Tight, it's all about line.
Yes.
So now we'll see how Jamie Sinclair can capitalize on the miss from the Japanese.
I like the weight.
Like a
Maybe
two.
it's maybe a little high.
There.
2. Little high.
Okay, line's good.
3. Mine's nice. 3.
Ew.
The weight's good, nice and tight to the rings.
We're going to be top 12 if I go. 12? Okay, just leave it then. We are top 12.
Are you right to it?
No.
Looks like it's
We're about here. Okay, that's fine.
okay. I don't
I
hate
think
that.
that's bad.
It's good enough.
Sorry, I knew I was a hair hot.
That glid a lot further than I thought. Still.
Line's perfect.
とりあえず2つ出したい。
That's fine.
That's biting the 8 foot.
ここから複数点
Looks
いける
like
と思う？
Japan now, or Team USA now lying 4.
ダメだよ、こっちで打たれて。いやー、ないと思う
They originally wanting that rock to stop,
トリプルか
maybe just
ダブル
tight to
は
the
ね。
rings, but
うん、そ
that's not too bad right there.
う。でもシューターが出ちゃうけど。ここでノーズでやってもさ、あれが出せな
ね、
くなっちゃうんだよね。
出せないから。3個はある？
そう、3
Japanese trying to decide if there's a triple available here at all.
シューターは止まるか。ちょっとその赤が
ああ、そうだね。
強いもんね。
そうだね。
うん。で、こうのこうか。
うん。
As they
半
decide,
分よりちょっと薄め？
has the Fenson meter decided, is there a triple available here?
I'm not sure if that middle rock will leave the rings. It may stick right on that back rock in the back of the 8 foot, but she's going to give it a whirl here.
The first of her 2. Trying to remove multiple stones here of the United States. The world and Olympic medalist with the biggest shot for her so far in this game.
Got to hit a little high side.
Yep.
Yeah.
Killed a couple.
Bit unlucky to have that one jam in the back, so that second U.S. stone that looked like was going to exit remains in the house.
Yeah, and touching the 4 foot as well.
So I don't mind guarding that.
Guarding it again.
Similar to the same way I just
think
threw a hair
same.
more
Yeah.
ice.
Probably most importantly, a second shot in the back of the 8 foot belonging to Team USA as well. So
Same thing.
tricky, real tricky here for the Japanese to hang a crooked number.
We're going to have a little less.
Yeah, the force
not much, honestly.
still on here for the United States.
Sorry. All right, tight guard.
Tight guard, the call from the American skip.
Same shot as her first.
3. Easy.
I think it's less.
It is less.
Easy.
3.
Bit of room.
Pretty tight. I think we still clean it.
Vic, if any.
Vic, if you
3.
can, but
I'm just going to clean it. We're almost to it.
okay.
Want to make sure they're covering
Go,
center line
Vic.
side.
Get the red
Yep,
one
that's
almost.
fine. Go. Yeah, go. Here's fine.
Go,
Keep
Vic.
going. Keep going. Go.
Taylor could
Go,
help
go,
her here
go.
for a little
Hard,
distance.
hard.
That one ends up, oh, that's good too. That's in the same spot. Shot rocks
That works.
nicely guarded.
That spot is Real nice.
I thought it was way less at a hand.
Yeah? I did too. I did too, yeah.
Now for Fujisawa, looking for something. Has to make sure she scores. She can play the tap on that rock on the center line. Turn draw's a little tricky because the corner guard is running interference. Looks like she's just going to play the out-turn tap. Just advance their rock into the 4-foot for 1.
Team Japan forced to 1 in the first. Notching 2 with hammer in the 4th. And now trying to wiggle out of a spot of trouble here in the 6th and see if it can at least take a point and close the gap on the United States.
Yeah, they had a couple of tough misses this end, which has really put them in a situation here. Team USA played a pretty solid end. Fujisawa forced to make this tap for 1.
Tapping it with a little gusto. I don't know.
You can see that curling away from the center line actually doesn't catch the fattest part of the 4-foot either.
Too close to agree, so you know what? We'll get the stick and measure in a moment. So about that measurement, each team with a rock at the end of the 6th. Yellow is not closer. The red rock was, so a point on the board for Japan. And Pete, end of the 7th end, Jamie Sinclair with hammer, the 1-point lead, the opportunity presenting itself for a blank, and she's gonna take it.
Absolutely, make the blank here. Carry the hammer into the last end with a 1-point lead. Great situation for Team USA.
So Sinclair gonna get the takeout. No score, no change of possession of the hammer. If it's a blank, you keep it, and that's the case for Team Sinclair. 1 end left, the US up 1, and Jamie Sinclair has the last shot here as we get rolling in the 8th. Yuriki Yoshida, quality shooting at 92% through the majority of this game. Guard coming out here for Japan. Pete, strategy for these teams with the U.S. up 1 with hammer in the last, especially considering our format, which isn't an extra end, it's a one-shot shootout if we're tied.
Nice advantage, too, for Team USA. Always having the lead and the hammer playing the last is a good thing, but even more so here. If they happen to give up a steal of 1, it goes to a 1-rock shootout for the win. And you know Japan's going to put the pressure on here. They have to go all out for the steal.
First from Taylor Anderson, bumping that red Japanese stone. It hits the bumper. Bit of bad luck there for the Americans as that rock that got hit gets replaced and the U.S. stone is taken out. So Japan has its guard in place.
They have a chance now to put up a second center guard. With that first one stopping where it did, which is roughly right between the hog line and the house. You have to be careful not to leave a pretty simple double peel for, in this case, Vicky Persinger. Like this to stop just over the hog line. Really want to try and line both rocks up on the center line. Those two are a little bit close together.
Taylor Anderson, 90% through 7.
Line's good, top 8, guys.
Taylor's going around with the outturn here. Heard Jamie say top 8.
Killed it. Again. Sit. All the way back.
A little error in judgment there by Vicky and Corey Christensen.
Go, Vic. Hard. Sorry, Tay.
Oversweeping this one. It's a little heavy out of hand anyway, but they definitely did not need to be swept, so that rock helping the Japanese. Resting in the back of the forefoot. Fujisawa now gets a chance to take advantage of those double center guards.
Suzuki laying out another here for the Japanese in end 8. Coming around and coming towards the button.
Not too bad of a landing spot. They're originally aiming a little higher in the forefoot, but that one stops on the button for shot rock. Could have actually swept it a bit, frozen it on that back rock. They know that the peel's coming here from Vicky Persinger.
And a delightful double peel for the American second.
Great shot there by Vicky Persinger to get things opened up here for Team USA. Suzuki now just replacing the center guard. Like this, moderately tight to the rings. Just halfway, maybe inside halfway slightly.
Nice, they say.
Good enough for now. As you see, they're not a perfect guard, but good enough for now. Jamie's going to peel the center guard regardless.
Peel she does. 2 shots for Vicky Persinger, 3 Japanese rocks removed. That works.
The double peel was big. Keep in mind now, if things do not change, the Japanese will have a chance to lie too on Fujisawa's last. The regard. Want to make sure they don't get these guards too close to the rings, because Jamie may want to run this guard into that rock on the button just to try and get things opened up a little. Here it is now with Corey's first one.
Yeah, out. It's just a hair high. Okay. You got this, Corey.
Jamie asking Corey to just get this rock off the button. Aiming for just off nose.
Nice shot. Go, go, go.
Pretty good for Team USA.
Pretty good. She left the center guard, but that was to be expected. She got that rock off the button, and the forefoot is now opened up for the time being.
I like that a lot. Yeah, cleans it up a little.
Limit stress, limit possibilities for the opposition. Primary objective here for Team USA. With the 1-point lead as the rocks wind down in regulation.
And now the guard is a yellow rock instead of a red, belonging to Team USA, so they can actually run it in, flirt with the nose with peel weight, and try and make contact if there's any Japanese stones remaining in the forefoot. It's a little bit of a break for Team USA. That rock overthrown.
Oh, I don't know if I like the peel.
I like the peel. Yeah, try to catch that side one. Do that.
That peel's a shot here. Keep the front open.
Doesn't really matter. I think
Run it into some of those rocks in the back.
Same turn. Yep. 3/4.
Same throw for Corey here, just out-turned peel weight.
Hard! Hard! Hard!
Sinclair can't sweep the other one out, but still quality work from Corey Christensen.
Great shot again there by Corey Christensen. Really close to the nose. Kills one, rolls over on top of the other one, and actually USA lies one now. So
Spot run's nice.
great 4 shots by the middle of the
pretty
lineup here
gradual.
for Team USA.
Putting Jamie Sinclair in a position to seal the deal with her final 2 throws.
Fujisawa has to go around now, sticking with the out turn. Lions key here, they want to get this buried. Room by the guard. Good throw there, well handled by the front end.
Just a couple of rocks left to decide things in regulation, or could we head to a shootout? Stick around and find out from Raleigh.
Half of 12.
Team USA trying to put this game away. Up 1 with hammer, final end. Japan needs a steal of 1 to tie and force a 1-shot shootout for the win, or a steal of 2 would get the job done here in the
Easy
8th.
back line.
Jamie Sinclair, though, trying to take care of business.
Jamie trying to tap this rock off the button now. Once again with the out turn. Trying to come in here with back 8 or back 12-foot weight. Give this shot rock a little boost and maybe lie 2. Great touch there by Jamie. See, she taps that rock all the way out of the 8-foot and lies 2 for Team USA.
So now, Pete, Japan down to its final rock, its final chance to have a say in how this plays out.
Looks like she's going to play the out-turn tap. She's going to come by that guard. But she has to tap that Yellowstone out of the 4-foot because the shooter probably isn't going to be completely full 4. She did just watch Jamie's rock run down the ice. She knows where to put the stick here. She's going to throw a little less weight probably. Just has to get it out of the 4-foot now.
This Japanese skip, her Japanese team, Olympic and world medalists. Team Sinclair hoping to notch an impressive victory here in Raleigh. And Japan hoping to force Jamie Sinclair into having to earn it with her final shot.
Gotta get the line right. Want to be close by the guard. Yoshida trying to leave that yellow rock just in the back of the 4-foot. So something more for Jamie to have to navigate. Now, based on the format here, I love the draw by Jamie. She throws the draw for the win. If she happens to miss it, she gets to throw the draw again for the tiebreaker.
And they're contemplating
I think that's good.
the tap, but again, those rocks in the back kind of taking that out of play with the danger lurking there.
Yeah, she talked about running the guard back and just killing that red rock out the side, but I like this call. Just got to draw full 4-foot.
All right, full 4. Yeah.
We think this pass 3 feet slower than the out turn side.
Great last-minute chat there. You heard Taylor tell Jamie we think it's 3 feet slower.
Taylor's just kind of came.
3 feet slower than the other side.
A hair less.
Less?
Just, yeah. That guard's pretty high. Yeah.
Japan's done all it can do, at least in regulation.
Yes.
Will they get a chance to have a one-shot shootout for the win? Or will Jamie Sinclair ice the proceedings with this last rock of regulation?
I'm good.
Mine's nice.
Always want to see brooms on the ice when that last rock is released, when it's a draw for the win.
I'm good.
Full 4, girls.
That means she's close.
13-4. Should be close. Should be close. Really nice, Jamie.
Needed full 4. Got the butt. Dead. Solid. Perfect. Victory for the U.S. Back to wrap it up in a moment. NBCSN Curling Night in America has been brought to you by TeamUSAFund.org. Every donation matters. Show your support for Team USA. Visit TeamUSAFund.org to make a gift today. By the members and sponsors of USA Curling. By the World Curling Federation, proud supporter of curling everywhere. And by Toyota, going places. A victory for Jamie Sinclair in the United States in Raleigh, 6-4 over Team Japan. The United States continuing its strong play, and Jamie and Corey ready to chat about it with our Tanith White.
All right, Jamie, Corey, congratulations. Jamie, first of all, from the shots called to blanking the 7th end and the strategy there, it seemed like you were in complete command of this match from start to finish. What was the focus that you honed in on to really execute like you did?
You know, I think a lot of it is just kind of exuding as much confidence as you can, and I think that's contagious throughout the team, and it reflects in like the shots that you're making. So like huge confidence booster, and you know, just like momentum that you're rolling off of.
You mentioned some great calls there. Obviously, the communication between the two of you in your roles really at the backbone of this team. Corey, how do you feel this relationship is developing in your first season, and what's unique about it that's allowed you to already develop to the point you have?
Yeah, I think it's coming along really well. I think we make a great back-end pair. Kind of helps that I used to play skip, so I'm able to kind of help out with Jamie on a couple calls, and also, you know, I kind of know what Jamie needs to help perform at her best. So yeah, it's going along really well.
Guys, congratulations. Great game.
Thank you so much.
Time now for the Jägermeister shot of the game. And Pete, the last of the night for Jamie Sinclair, oh so smooth.
One of my personal favorite shots in the game of curling is the draw for the win. Jamie puts the stick down and throws this with great confidence. Taylor and Vicky manage it to perfection. Clean it in. Stops right on the button.
Really nice and really satisfying for Team USA with a 6-4 win against a Japanese team that has Olympic and world medals to its credit. Other games in this latest session, including the Italian women, 2 better than Scotland. In mixed doubles, Corey Dropkin and Sarah Anderson are flying right now. They throttled Japan 15-2. And the other mixed doubles game here in this session, the victory going to Italy by a count of 9-2. So the overall standings here on NBCSN Curling Night in America from Raleigh, showing the United States still in the lead overall in the chase for the American Cup. Italy, Japan, and Scotland chasing down Team USA. Well, the next time we see you on Curling Night in America, we'll see that formidable pair from the United States playing mixed doubles. Corey Dropkin, Sarah Anderson, matched up against Team Scotland as the United States will look to continue a terrific run of play in Raleigh. But on this night, it's Jamie Sinclair and the U.S. women finding a way to get past Satsuki Fujisawa and Team Japan. 3 in the second, giving the U.S. a lead it never relinquished. 6-4 the score. For Tanith White, Pete Fenson, and our entire NBC Sports crew, this is Jason Knapp saying thanks again for making this another great NBCSN Curling Night in America.